What up, everybody? I'm your host, JP, and this is my co-host, Josh.
Hey, everyone.
And welcome to another episode of the FilmBros podcast. Guys, look. We're going to start. Josh, you know I'm excited. I'm excited about this episode. We had a Star Wars Celebration over the weekend, and honestly, it sounds good. Now, we're going to break down everything that they basically showed. There are trailers out there. If you guys haven't seen them, go check them out. There's trailers for the Ahsoka show that's coming out. There's trailers for the Vision show. What other trailers are there?
They
didn't just give us 2 trailers, did they?
I think they gave us gameplay for the game. What is it?
Oh, the Jedi Survivor.
Yeah,
I seen that one too.
A lot of famous people did talk. Like Hayden Christensen went up there and stuff. They confirmed a lot of other things.
There's YouTube
trailers.
No, not a lot of trailers, but there was a lot of people and a lot of guests. So if you haven't seen it, there's a lot of clips on YouTube. I watched them all. Hayden was crying up there. Some other people were brought back that we're gonna have a discussion about. Not just because I want to bash people, but because there's conversation to be made about it for sure. Yeah. But first things first, we're gonna break down at least the TV shows first, and then we'll move on to the movies. There's a lot to discuss.
Yeah, they confirmed quite a bit without really like trailers and stuff.
Yes. So first things first, before we jump into anything, we need to know who the head person is and who is the person that basically made all these announcements. That is Kathleen Kennedy. We've talked about her before in previous episodes. We know that she's on her way out supposedly. When does Dial of Destiny come out? This August? She's supposed to be leaving, making her departure around that time. Not sure if it's true or not. It's all rumors and speculation. She's making a lot of plans. A lot of plans for like down the road shit. So it kind of makes me believe that she might have something, or she's just locking in plans before she walks out, and she's able to say, well, my name needs to be attached to these, and, at least have some Star Wars movies or TV shows that are, with her, I guess, right?
Well, no, I mean, okay, because she's greenlit quite a bit of stuff. So, and we're getting confirmation about certain things being made, and I don't know. I don't think she's on her way out. I think that rumor is going to end up being false. I don't think she's on her way out.
You think she's here to stay for a little bit?
She wouldn't have greenlit movies that are coming out in 2 years or so.
Not even 2 years, 6 or 7 years from now.
Well, there you go. See, so I don't think she's gonna be out anytime soon.
I don't know. She might get that renewal. She might not. I mean, Star Wars has kind of been in shambles under her watch. I mean, I know that it's not like completely her fault. I know it's Star Wars fans too, but at the same time, she didn't help with some of the products that she put out. Right? Okay, let's go ahead and run down. Let's at least run down Kathleen Kennedy first and her track record, right? So her track record, she did a lot of good stuff outside of Star Wars. She got brought in, started greenlighting shows and everything. Some were hits, some were misses. The Force Awakens was a good entree piece. It really brought a lot of the fandom together, and we're like, yeah, the future is bright with what's going on. Like a plan came The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi, in my opinion, depending on what side of the aisle you guys are on, I mean, you can really absolutely hate this movie or you can absolutely love this movie. I am one who loves it. I know Josh loves it as well. He's one that likes it too. Mm-hmm. That really split the fandom. Okay? That was a big split right there. And then Rise of Skywalker came out. The half-baked movie that you knew did not have a lot of thought put into it. And depending on how you look at things, could have ruined the original trilogy for you because, who was supposed to bring balance? Anakin Vader. And him coming back just shows that balance was not put back to... I don't know. Depending on how you see it, it could have. And so that even made... Oh, and Rey Skywalker that was a big split. And I'll tell you right now, we're probably going to talk about that later. So we're not going to go ahead and do that right now. We'll talk about it later. Don't worry.
We'll save it.
We'll save that.
Yeah.
That caused a bigger split. And then Star Wars hiatus, right? And then what was the first thing that was brought back that was a massive hit? Mandalorian. Disney Plus was launched. Mandalorian was attached to it. Everybody loved it. Got us a green light. The Clone Wars season 7 kept going. We got a Book of Boba Fett show that came out. We're already on season 3 of The Mandalorian. I mean, 2 seasons were good. Third one could be a miss. Boba Fett was most definitely a miss in my opinion. And that's all the shows, right? Kenobi was a miss. Andor was a hit.
The Bad Batch.
The Bad Batch was also, depending on how you see it, there's a lot of filler. So her track record was kind of bumpy. I mean, she's the reason why there's no Star Wars movies.
No, I believe.
So there's a lot a lot behind this that can be said that she might not get a contract renewal.
Maybe, but we're also getting quality stuff as of lately. I think season 3 of Mandalorian needs to wait, but we've gotten a steady uptake of things that have you got split fandom and stuff, but at the end of the day, I think it still does bring in numbers because people are still gonna watch just to hate on it, so it doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? That still boosts sales and stuff. And as far as the sequels go,
but do you want to watch?
Do you want to made money?
The sequels made money, but I mean, did it make as much money as you would have hoped? Probably not.
The Force Awakens is still top 5, right? Top 10?
No, it got bumped out. Well, it's top 10, but it got bumped 10. Out to 5. Yeah.
Damn, way of water.
Yeah, it's the reason why.
I know, but and then I still think the last 2 did really well.
The Last Jedi is in the top 10 too. I think it's number 9 or something.
Yeah, see, so you couldn't really it split the fandom, and the reason is probably that because they're like, okay, we kind of cashed in all our chips with The Rise of Skywalker. We should take a step back to reevaluate because now we have fans who probably won't even see it. Those movies after the fact will be affected, like Solo was.
That's what I'm saying. Those are the movies that were affected. Solo was affected, and that's what made Star Wars movies kind of halt.
Yeah, but I mean, it isn't because of what you're saying. It's because of the fans. They still raked in money.
But who is the person who divided the fans?
The people, the lack of planning. But that's not really it's her department. But at the same time, you can't put it all on her because she just greenlights that shit.
She's a producer. She's a producer on all this stuff. She has say. There's a lot of stuff that they're like, oh yeah, Kathleen said no to this. I think Rogue One was reshot completely. I think with a different director because there was a lot. I guess test screenings were really bad in that movie, and Kathleen Kennedy came in and basically saved it. That's what I'm saying. She has some hits. I'm not saying that she's a terrible person, but I think there is conversation to say that she might not have a contract with Lucasfilm. There's room to say that, at least, right?
No,
I guess you can say. I mean, I'm not saying that she will walk out, or that only time will tell. Who knows? What if she wakes up one day and she's like, if they give me another contract, I'm going to take another stab at it. I mean, but there is conversations that the people won't even come up with that conversation. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you did your time. Thank you. There's the door. It could go that way. It could. So, with one of the first things that she decided to green light was...
Wait, but before we get into the news, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Today's episode is sponsored by ZippyStream. If you are wondering how we make money to run our podcast, it's all because of this innovative platform. Here at FilmBros Podcast, we absolutely love using ZippyStream. It's the easiest way to convert listeners into an email list, but best of all, they find us sponsorship so we can keep making money doing what we love.
Suppose you're also a podcaster thinking about starting one. ZippyStream will help you find and manage a relationship with brands that are relevant to your audience. If you want to learn more, contact us as soon as possible. Everyone that signs up this month will get to claim £10 as a joining bonus, which is around $12 or something like that.
Just reach out to us by email or social media DMs, and I'll put you in touch with the guys at ZippyStream right away. Now back to the pod. Ahsoka's obviously Ahsoka show is going to be made by Dave Filoni. We wound up getting a trailer for the Ahsoka show, which was honestly I didn't mind. The lightsabers look ugly. I gotta say, there's something wrong with these TV shows, and for some reason they're not getting the lightsabers right. I was telling you the other day that like I felt like Disney got the lightsaber shit correct with The Force Awakens, with The Last Jedi. You know what I mean? With Rise of Skywalker, like the lightsaber aspect, I fucking killed it. I think that's the only thing that dragged it down for me with this Ahsoka trailer. There wasn't a lot for me to be like, oh, this is shit. It was just more like that doesn't give me a good sign because I seen that in other shows.
Yeah, the lightsabers are different. The only ones that look funky are like the orange looking ones, or the bad guys' lightsabers, because they kind of don't look red. They look orange to me.
Well, actually, speaking of that, Filoni also spoke about that and said that the orange tint was kind of like a hint. Like, oh, you know, maybe he's not fully, or you know what I mean? Maybe it's because I guess he said Darth Vader's lightsaber back in the day was orange, but like it was tinted that way, obviously, because of TV coloring or whatever. But it was meant to be red, but I guess he's playing with that. So he might be a Sith that is fighting both sides. That's not completely, who knows?
Maybe. But either way, the orange, it doesn't look good. Her sabers still look dope. They looked as clean as they did when she showed up in Mando.
They look good, but they just look like if you have a side-by-side comparison of like the lightsabers within the shows, like this lightsaber that they're showing us right here, her white one, there's a complete difference from the movies to this, to how the lightsabers are shown within the shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that you can complain about the budget, but I don't know. I don't even know what it could be. They do look weird.
I was about to say, could it be the budget? But I mean, I don't know. I feel like the prequel trilogy made them look good with less. You know, I feel like the prequel trilogy looks a little bit.
Those are still movies. You're still getting movie budget.
Yeah, it still is movie budget, huh? I don't know. Maybe it is TV show budget. I'm not sure. We did find out though that Grand Admiral Thrawn's going to be in this one, and he's also going to be played by Lars Mikkelsen, who voiced him in Rebels. So that's another W. At least we're getting that real, like, that translation, that seamless translation where it's gonna go just from cartoon to live action, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that does sound dope.
We saw, who do we see? We saw Sabrine Rim in the trailer. We saw a hologram of Ezra Bridger. If you guys are excited about that one, there's so much that is just screams Rebels. I'm just like, this is the continuation of Rebels. It has to be.
Yeah, basically they're getting everyone back together. You saw Chopper, Hera.
We saw Zeb recently in the Mandalorian season.
So like they're planting the seeds, telling you that they're still kicking. So
they're gonna be around.
Yeah,
they're gonna be doing their thing. It's gonna lead to something.
It leads. Well, I mean, technically, it leads to the Rise of Skywalker. They were in that fight, right? The ship. What was it?
We're not mentioning that name right now, though. Why'd you just bring it up like that? It's like you want to trigger me.
It was in
that's not cool.
The ship was in the movie.
The ship was in the movie. The ghost ship was in the movie.
See? Yeah. So I mean, they kind of went there. So, but anyway,
it's true. Yeah, that's where they met up. Well, if they got the band together before they got there, I mean, yeah, it'd be nice to let us know what kind of relation they had with them, or like, did they even know them, or were they just like, hey, let's go help them out.
We gotta call from the resistance.
Come on, let's just go, guys. Another show that we obviously knew about, we've talked about a lot on this pod, is the Alkalite, which is going to be coming out in August of 2024. Or no, sometime in 2024. Sorry. I forgot to tell you guys when the Ahsoka show was coming out. It was in August 2023. That's where I got the August from. August 2023. Not a lot of synopsis for this one, but we did get a synopsis for the Alkalite. And that is going, I guess it got some footage was shown at the actual event, but not to the people outside.
Not to the public, goddammit. I hate that they do this. I know the people that go need the little bit perk, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Of going to the event, but you gotta feed everybody.
That's what I'm thinking, bro. Like, why didn't they just, give it to everybody so we could have just, we could have known. But he basically says, start Lee Jung Jae, he starred in the Squid Game, so I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that show. It's on Netflix, I believe. He says, "I'm not sure what I can say if I can say this, but stepping on the set, that was the greatest shock for me because anything you could see on set was so real. Such a grand set, but the small props, such great detail, and I was just in awe of all the effort and all the hard work that everyone's put into making the set." I think that's pretty cool for like set purposes because we've been seeing some of the shows and how they've been using that volume stage. So that kind of puts my mind at ease because Andor was shot on like actual location.
Yeah.
And that looked magnificent.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the practical sets are really gonna make this show pop, and I'm hoping that they learn not to use the volume so damn much.
Yeah, because Boba Fett had practical stuff. Had a little bit of practical set, even though it was kind of shot in the volume as well. Because sometimes the volume is just used for like background, like sunlight and shit like that.
Yeah.
So like you still need a set, and I think there is times where you can see that. I think Star Wars kind of has nailed the whole thing because they don't have movie budget, so they need sets. They got to get it right.
I mean, it was probably cheaper using the volume. It's just the volume just doesn't look blended well. I'm not sure.
Know how to use it.
Yeah, people don't know how to use it sometimes, and it's just obvious that they're on the set, and it kind of just draws you out of it. So this one's gonna be set in the High Republic era. It's gonna be very exciting. I've been waiting for a show like this. I wish we could have seen a trailer because I'm hoping this show is gonna just completely kick ass. Once again, though, it is just a show, so I got to be able to hold my expectations a little bit lower. Because like I said, it's gonna be a Jedi show. This one has to be a Jedi show. It's not gonna just be like the Mandalorian walking around with blasters and don't really have to use them. It's gonna be an actual Jedi show. So if there's gonna be lightsaber fights, those lightsabers need to look good. Same thing with Ahsoka. There's gonna be lightsaber fights in that. They need to look good. And right now, man, it's a struggle. It's a struggle just to watch it on a TV show. But that's just me because I'm one of those that likes good graphics with my, you know what I mean? Like, I like to see it to believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if it looks fake, it's hard to believe.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was really excited for this one, or I still am excited. I'm just, that High Republic era is something they've been trying to kick out for a while, since those books came out.
Yeah.
And kind of starting to pave the way for them to be canon, which is awesome because there was a whole time when, well, it's always been Legends, but the fact that they're starting to bring him to light, you're kind of like, oh, I need that shit now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because people were still like, oh, Revan is kind of canon, and I'm like, well, he's kind of canon because he's mentioned his knights were.
Darth Bane is
Darth
canon.
Bane, yeah, so like you get a few names, and I know Disney will probably tweak it up because, Legends characters are powerful as shit. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think this one's gonna be good though. Hopefully, it's good.
Yeah, I have high hopes for it, and if we see some kind of villain from the High Republic era, like if you guys haven't seen it yet, there's that Old Republic game that they have a lot of cinematics, and it kind of just shows. I think I talked about this on one of the episodes before, but it kind of just shows you what to kind of expect. The acolytes are basically the Sith henchmen who wield the dark side but don't have to adhere to the rule of two. So it's very interesting. It's gonna be a good show. Yeah. I can't wait. And oh my gosh, it's so exciting. Go watch those clips on YouTube if you haven't seen them. They're very good. I'm excited
cinematics.
For it. Yeah, the cinematics.
They still hold up, which is crazy because it was for a PC game.
Dude, they still put some out and they're great.
Yeah,
I watch them.
It's so weird.
You know how like you have your comfort videos on YouTube? Yeah. Those are my comfort videos.
Okay.
I love watching those.
Yeah,
I watch them on repeat. Don't come at me. Anyways, another announcement that we got is a Vision Season 2. Now, I know you're excited for it. Mm-hmm. I know you're excited for it because you love anime. You love the first season. I only got through 4 episodes of the first season of Visions. I am very skeptical about this season, but I did see the trailer. It's on YouTube, guys. The animation looks pretty good. There's one that I seen on there that was kind of like claymation. I'm actually excited for that one. Yeah. It's not just pure anime. They're actually doing like different animation styles. And I know like they did that with the first Visions too, but it was more heavy anime in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm definitely excited for this one. One of them looks like it has the little comic booky animation from like Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
That one looks dope.
Everybody's pioneering that now.
Yeah. So good for Sony. They set the bar. Yeah, I'm definitely excited for this one. I really like the first season. Not because like the lightsaber fights do go hard, but even the smaller stories that kind of don't involve a lightsaber, you're kind of like, oh, that's nice. They kind of tribute a little bit,
Yeah,
to Star Wars. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
It's pretty good. I personally like it. Now these are not like I believe I looked it up. They're not canon, right? They're
Yeah,
just
no, they're not.
they're just fun
short
stories. Yeah. Okay. So it's very good. I enjoyed a few of the episodes. I didn't watch them all. I'm hoping this one kind of draws me in and makes me be like, damn, I should just probably sit through and watch them. You know what I mean? Like I said, there was a couple animation styles that I really love. Like they're gonna be having Ardaham. They're basically the ones that make Wallace and Gromit and Chicken Run. That's the studio, which is the clay animation, which is gonna be so clean. It's gonna be great. I wonder where they found the time to do this. Cartoon Saloon. They made Wolfwalkers. They work on Wolfwalkers. And this show's coming out exactly on Star Wars Day, May 4th.
Just like the first season.
Yeah.
I hope that's the tradition then, because next year and like they just keep it going, dropping May 4th. Like that'd be dope.
That's actually smart because I know that they were trying to do that at least with a show. I know the Mandalorian opened up on May 4th. I think it was the second season. The Bad Batch did. I think, what was it, last year that the first season of Visions came out?
Yeah.
So that's the one where it came out on May 4th too. So, very good. Like if they just, honestly, that might be a lot better than putting out a whole show or trying to make people hurry up to be like, hey, on May 4th we need to put out a Star Wars show because it's Star Wars Day.
You got a whole year to animate and then voice act it, put it together and stuff, and then boom.
There you go, May 4th.
Yeah,
bang.
Like a 9-minute episode of just animation.
Yeah, because they're only short, right? They're only like 8 to 10 minutes or something. Yeah, very good. Can't wait. If you guys are excited about it, there is a trailer, like I said, on YouTube. Go check that out. We also have confirmation that Bad Batch is returning for a third and final season in 2024. So next year.
Yeah. Oh man. I hope it comes out early like this season did, because this season started in what, January? No, like February.
Yeah. I think it's on track because they said that that they also showed us a small trailer there.
Yeah.
A little teaser. So that means that they're already animating. They're already on their way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So by the end of this year, it should be ready.
Yeah. Hopefully by February, like this season, it comes out and we get to eat good and cry again. Because my God, I think we'll be putting out a Bad Batch review, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to because honestly, the way season 2 ended, like, don't get me wrong, there's fillers in it, but the way the seasons end, they end in such a high note. You're just like, fuck, dude. Like, why'd you guys do that? Like, the show is really good. If you guys are a fan, and then adjacent to that, you also have the Clone Wars. So go check those out too.
Exactly.
Bad Batch with no release date yet, just coming out in 2024. Hopefully early 2024. If you haven't seen the first 2 seasons, go check them out. They're on Disney Plus. So not a lot came out with this announcement.
I think they confirmed that Fennec and
Wolf is going to be in this one. Yeah. I think that they were in the trailer, I believe.
Damn, see what I'm saying? They gotta feed us too, bro. Damn. Ridiculous.
Yeah. And Fennec was in the first season of the Bad Batch too, so
only for like a little bit, right? She was only rivaling Crosshair for a little bit.
Basically. And well, they kind of go through the whole season, but then towards the last few episodes she just kind of dissipates.
Basically, yeah.
Jumps to the Mandalorian. But those are all the shows. So we got, let's run them back. We got Ahsoka. We got the Acolyte. Visions. And the Bad Batch season 3. That's basically it. We are eating good, at least TV show wise. I mean, if you guys are excited, like I said, things have been hit and miss. So to like reiterate, I like to say, be cautious with these shows. Obi-Wan left a lot of bad taste in people's mouths. Me too. Like there were some high highs and there were some low lows, and I was like, man, why did they do this? So it's some of these shows are gonna be kind of like on the edge list. I know the Bad Batch I can rely on. I know even though there's filler, I know I can rely on that one. Visions, I'm hoping they deliver for me for sure. But Ahsoka and the Alkalite, I gotta say I'm kind of skeptical, but I'm excited.
I'm excited.
So excited that I'm scared. You know?
No, I'm just excited. Really good time to be a Star Wars fan, honestly. Like even if you're on shaky ground and stuff and whatnot, I think they put out something where you're kind of like, okay, yeah, I can vibe with this. Whether it's animation or live action, I think everyone kind of finds their taste.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so I know that for a fact that they love to do like live action stuff because it's more broader appeal. A lot more people like to see things in live action than animation.
Animation is kid stuff. Fuck you guys.
Yeah. Look, go watch the Bad Batch, bro. That's not kid shit. Go watch season 3 of the Clone Wars up until the very end. That's not kid shit. There's not. Anakin literally stabs a spider in front of everybody. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, animation, live action. I love that Star Wars is able to do both. I love how they can translate and jump from back and forth.
Exactly.
And I kind of feel like they're the only people who actually crack that code.
Exactly. And now you have James Gunn trying to take that formula, but I don't think it's going to work out too well.
Marvel tried to do it too. It blew up in their face.
But well, there you go.
Star Wars is number 1.
But yeah, I think the way they do translate it, it comes out very well because you don't expect it. You're kind of like, well, holy shit, and then they do it, and you're like, God, they did it. So like with Ahsoka,
yeah,
I know people were complaining about her hair or whatever, and they were like, they're too short, and I'm like, well, okay, well, fuck you. So, but like they do it well, and
they look longer in the Ahsoka trailer.
Yeah, so they're doing it very well, especially with Zeb looked really good. He looked amazing. Yeah, honestly, for a TV show. So
no, honestly, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you can make Zeb look like that, lightsabers gotta come easy, bro. There's no way.
Because the darksaber still looks dope.
I think the darksaber looks clean, but I mean, what do you really have to do to a black lightsaber? You know what I mean? I guess that's the only thing. I don't know. Very exciting stuff, though. I think if Lucasfilm can make a comeback, it's gonna be great.
I still think The Force Awakens and the sequel trilogy probably just perfected it. They you know how we were watching that one video and they were like, oh, we used actual like props with the lights, so the lights shine on them. Like, they perfected it. Like, that's dope. They should do more of that.
Yeah, but I mean, they're doing that with the shows too. But the thing is that they're not making. It's like they're not putting the finishing touches, if that makes sense. Because when man, and this is gonna bring like goosebumps the way I'm gonna describe this, guys. Listen here. So that first time that, and this is The Force Awakens. I have a love-hate relationship with the sequel trilogy, but that one time when Rey picked up that lightsaber in the snow and lit that shit up, how clean it looked. The lightsaber come out, the blue hitting her face, and the other side not even like showing any blue. Like, that was a perfected lightsaber. A Kylo's lightsaber, how it's all like static and breaky and it has its own, life to it. That is a perfected lightsaber. What they're doing in the shows, they're just getting the glowy sticks and like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not. They're doing very weird stuff. They just need to brush up on it. But yeah,
I hope it gets good. Honestly, Disney perfected the lightsaber, and I don't know why they reverted back, but we need to bring it back to that. It's like they were like, nah, we don't need that. We don't need it. That's kind of like the Bad Batch going like, we perfected the animation style from the Clone Wars, but let's just go back to season 1. You know what I mean, of the Clone Wars and do it like that. Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Season 1, like, they perfected it so well. The animation, like watching the Bad Batch, or even season 7, and then going back to season 1, you're like, man, they look so stiff.
Yeah. It's how it was at the time. But we're going to jump over to the other side from TV shows to movies. So we got a few movies that are going to be coming out. So we found out that James Mangold is going to be directing the movie. Sharmeen Obadiah Chinoy will be directing the movie as well. And Dave Filoni will be directing the movie. Now, before we dive into these movies and what they're about and all that extra good stuff, before I get you guys attached, I just want you guys to know exactly where we came from, okay? From at least Star Wars. Like I told you guys, a lot of hits and misses with Kathleen Kennedy. Now, there was a few movies that were announced a long time ago that we were promised, that never saw the light of day, that just got swept under the rug. And I kind of want to just bring light to those. I know we talked about them in a couple episodes, but since this is Star Wars, why not? Why not just weigh our options and give you guys that little dose of skepticism? Rian Johnson's trilogy and Taika Waititi movies. Now, we had 4 movies. These are 2 movies that, or actually, Rian Johnson's was supposed to be a trilogy and Taika Waititi's was supposed to be his own movie. So Kathleen Kennedy basically gave us an update on these projects. She basically said for Rian Johnson, she said there hasn't been much news in the upfront. Johnson has been focused on building his mystery empire through his Knives Out and Poker Face franchises. But the filmmaker claims he still wants to find time to do the Star Wars movie. Kathleen said, Rian and I talk all the time. He is unbelievably busy, so we're not actively involved in anything at the moment because he's doing another one of the Glass Onion movies. And then God knows what else, but he really wants to step back into the space. It's a big commitment of time, so that's really on him. Let's talk about that first before she talks about Taika's, because I feel like you're going to have a lot to say about Taika's. But so we were promised a trilogy, and Rian Johnson has been busy. He has made the Poker Face show. I watch it. It's pretty good. And he came out with a new Knives Out movie recently, and I'm sure he's making more for Netflix to keep on popping out.
Basically.
Now, The Last Jedi was so divisive. I already knew it wasn't going to get greenlit. And it's unfortunate because I know that he was saying that his trilogy was supposed to focus on the High Republic and stuff like that. And since we're getting the Acolyte, I'm sure she doesn't want to clash with his movies and that movie and whatever. So I kind of figured that one was going to be pushed under the rug. It just sucks because I am one of those people that liked The Last Jedi. And I would have liked to see more. And I think he's a master craftsman at what he does as a director. And I don't know. I don't think he's coming back just because it was so divisive. I don't think Kathleen Kennedy would be dumb enough to give him a movie.
I don't know. I want to say like maybe down the line, you know, but yeah, this was promised to us way back when. So if he hasn't found the time now, he's probably not gonna come back unless he finishes up another Knives Out film, and then he's like, you know what? Okay. Enough time has passed. Let me back, but I doubt it.
Yeah, a trilogy is a big commitment. So if he does jump back, it's gonna be years from now. I don't think it's gonna be anytime soon. Like I said, unfortunate because out of any of the movies that I think we're gonna list off here, this is the one I was most excited for. At least the trilogy.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah. So kind of a bummer. But that's one movie that was promised to us that's not gonna see the light of day anytime soon, supposedly. So on Taika's film, she says Taika is still working away. He's writing a script himself. He doesn't really want to bring others into the process, and I don't blame him. He has a very, very unique voice, so we want to protect that, and that's what he's doing. But we're going to make that one day. So nobody in the writer's room says that is happening still. I highly doubt. I highly doubt it's happening, because if it was, it would have been one of the panels. He would have came out to talk. I'm sure. I'm sure it's still not happening. But him writing it on his own, did we not see how Love and Thunder turned out? I don't know, man. I'm not one of those people that, there's people out there that are like, oh, he makes one bad movie and all of a sudden his Oscar nominations and Oscar award winners or whatever, they fucking go out the window. No, that's not true. But if you've seen kind of like, the pattern on his movies, then you kind of can get a sense on what kind of movie he's going to make. And if he's just going to make fun of Star Wars, me personally, I would want serious filmmakers. And he is serious, but he just jokes around too much.
Yeah. I guess that's the best way to put it without getting mean. If he's writing it on his own, I have no faith. When he announced that he was doing this, I was like, fuck. Because I didn't like Love and Thunder. And I just hearing him come up with the ideas and him also wanting to star, no, it's not for me. I can't take him seriously if he shows up as a Jedi or whatever the fuck. Nope. Couldn't do it.
I would hope he would not star in his own Star Wars movie. That'd be crazy. That'd be like, I'd know. That's too much. I would have been on Twitter all over the place. Fuck this guy. But
no, I was just like, fuck.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck, no.
I knew you were going to have stuff to say.
I can't, dude, because without getting too much into it, I don't vibe with him. He's not a director I vibe with. It's like, it would be like handing James Gunn a Star Wars project. I could not watch that. No.
I was about to ask you too. I was like, so then who would you have? Taika's or Ryan Johnson's, but I would have Ryan Johnson. Yeah,
for sure,
100%. Also another two, Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron. That one was promised to us. Made a video and everything. It's still on YouTube, guys. It was like 1.5 years ago now, or maybe close to 2 years now. They announced that she was making a Star Wars movie. It was going to be about Rogue Squadron. She talked about her dad and how, that it inspired her to make this fighter film because he was an airplane pilot. Mm-hmm. Go watch it. It's hilarious. I'm not saying it's hilarious what she talks about. It's just funny how they put that much effort and it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So after Wonder Woman 82, I mean, everybody said, or 84, I don't remember. Everybody says it's not because of it, but I'm sure what happened with that movie is what kind of influenced a lot of decision. I think that Patty Jenkins was kind of untouchable at the time, and I think after they announced it, they immediately regretted it. I feel like after that movie came out, they were just like, "Yee,
you fumbled the bag."
We were gonna give her a movie. Like, who greenlit this? Kathleen, get over here. So we got word that it got wiped away from the slate completely. It got pushed back from November 2021 to December 2022. And then it went to reschedule to December 2023, but then now it's completely taken off the list. So it's not there anymore. It's completely gone, completely canceled. I don't know. Were you excited about this movie? I mean, let's just push Wonder Woman 84 to the side and just say, for Patty Jenkins, were you excited for a Rogue Squadron movie?
Yeah. Yes. The concept of literally the Air Force meeting Star Wars sounds fucking dope. Like, that sounds like a Top Gun Star Wars type shit. Like, that would have been sick. And unfortunately, it does suck that she's not getting it. And yeah, it probably is because of Wonder Woman 84. Oh, but I don't think she's not incapable of making a good movie. It's just Wonder Woman 84 just wasn't her hit. You know what I mean?
Just put bad tastes in people's mouths.
Yeah, and that's what. And to people in Hollywood, a thing like that is pretty damaging. You know what I mean? And then her quitting, or getting fired, whatever the fuck happened to her at WB, and with James Gunn.
Very unprofessional.
It's very It's not, that doesn't add on to the whole pile. So it would have been dope. The concept sounds amazing, but she's not gonna do it.
Sucks. But also another movie, and we got a little update over the weekend about it, was Kevin Feige's movie. Supposedly he was supposed to make a movie now. She says this. Kathleen Kennedy said, Kevin Feige's project was something that was announced in press, but nothing ever got developed. We never discussed an idea. As everyone knows, Kevin is a huge Star Wars fan. If he did come up with something, I would be all ears, but that's never really happened. It's not an abandoned project. It just didn't happen. I mean, why would the press run with it in the first place then? And why wouldn't you have shut that shit down a long time ago?
Probably because once people hear Kevin Feige, as big as he is, they're probably just like, we got to get it out there and stuff.
But why wouldn't Kathleen Kennedy put it down, or Kevin Feige? You know what I mean? Like if that was in the press, kind of like how James Gunn goes on Twitter and is like, "Nope." You know what I mean? Why?
Well, I mean, not many people are like that though. You know what I mean? Like it's very rare to see celebrities doing that. Why James Gunn do it? No idea, but he does. But it's not very common for people. Oh, I guess now it is. You got Sandberg and a lot of other people doing it now.
Ayer does it too. David Ayer.
Yeah. But he does it to talk about the things that went wrong with his cut of the Suicide Squad, which I love because he's addressing it.
Mm-hmm.
But he isn't like James Gunn, tweeting about whatever the fuck and then getting backlash and then replying to that backlash. Same with Sandberg. If you just don't hear celebrities that often or movie directors that often or who are like this and that, or even Kathleen Kennedy, she's a producer, a big head of Disney Star Wars. She's not gonna be like shutting it down because maybe it is in talks, but she's just trying to keep it hush hush. And for the press to run with it, they're gonna do whatever the fuck they want. You know what I mean? Because once you hear Kevin Feige's tied to something, you're kind of like, oh, you got ears now. So, and then if it never happened, then it's no big deal.
Yeah, shouldn't matter because it's not gonna happen.
Homie's running the MCU. There's no way. You know what I mean?
Where he's gonna find the time is crazy. And what's happening with the MCU right now is even crazier. We're gonna have to talk about it on a different episode. But speaking of Kevin Feige, look out for the next couple episodes. We're gonna talk about it. Moving on though, so we learned about the movies that failed to make it out of development hell. Now it sounds like there is gonna be a commitment to these Star Wars movies that are coming out. The first one is James Mangold's movie, and that one is set to be it's supposed to be in an era 25,000 years in the past. It explores the origins of the Jedi. Now they put a working title. I'm assuming Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi is not going to be the title, but James Mangold basically called it his version of a biblical epic. This is what he said the movie's about. The idea of where it all started to make a Star Wars Zero, if you will. Where was the Force born? To me, the movie always has to have a question to answer. Some singular thing that you can say it's about, not just connecting plot of who built this, when, and who's going to defeat, but what's it about? And to me, this is about the discovery. So he's going way back to the very first Jedi. I mean, I wonder how awkward that was. Like, he just was reaching for something and it just came to him and he was just like, I Jedi. You know what I mean? It sounds kind of crazy. It sounds like it's going to be very, like, biblical, Jesus kind of, like, induced. Like, you know what I mean? Like, a very in-depth with the religion of within Star Wars. I think it's going to go deep into the lore.
What that sounds like, yeah. But I don't want that to take away the magic of it, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want his determination to be canon, because the way I see it, and everyone could interpret it differently, is like the Force is just around. You know what I mean? It's everywhere. It doesn't just start somewhere. It's basically when the galaxy expanded, it's been around.
Mm-hmm.
It corrupts, and it can lead. It does this and does that. And I don't know. If it's about the Jedi, then sure. And if it's about self-discovery, then alright. But we already know we got aliens and stuff, or I call them aliens. We got species and all that in Star Wars universe that already protect and, like, search through all that. You know what I mean? Like, there's in the Clone Wars, if you haven't seen it, watch it. But Yoda spends half the time visiting the the positive side of the Force users and the bad side of the Force users. So you don't really need a movie to determine all that. It kind of just, it's a thing that exists and people manipulate it. The Sith manipulate it. The Jedi say they don't want to manipulate it, but they do kind of anyway, even though they want to give it balance. So I mean,
and we know what gives them their powers. It's the midichlorians. You gotta have a midichlorian count.
Midichlorian count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's gonna be interesting how they're gonna have to put that all together. I'm hoping this is kind of like a heavy, George Lucas on his philosophy kind of thing on like how the Jedi and the Sith are created is gonna be put into this movie, because I think that's gonna make it or break it for me. I don't think I can, because I know the lore. I know the lore when it comes to the Force. I don't know if I've read anything when it comes down to like the first Jedi, but I know the lore when it comes down to like how the Force is used and everything. And I kind of just, and George Lucas might have messed up and added the midi-chlorians things, but if that's his vision, then I kind of wanted to keep it intact. So he would have to figure out a way to kind of merge. You know what I mean? Merge it.
Well, by the time, assuming it's all before all that stuff, well, you wouldn't really know what a midichlorian is. You just know that you can manipulate the Force better than others.
That's
so
true.
That would mean
no test tubes.
That would mean you would have more midichlorians in you. It's just there would be no way for you to tell that till you later on you find that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, being the first person to start moving things, you'd be crazy. Like, whoa.
It's a witch.
Like,
stone him.
Like, it would have been very frowned upon, I think, in a vast galaxy. Unless people are like, well, there's rumors that people can do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I need to see this movie though. It
So
sounds interesting.
So this one's not very. This one you need a trailer for.
Yeah, it makes me skeptical.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of have hopes for this one. I think Mangold can make good movies, and I think he can understand what he's writing.
He's doing Swamp Thing.
He is doing Swamp Thing, and he even said, and this is related to Star Wars because he said it at the Star Wars event. He even said that he doesn't know which one he's starting on first, if he's working on Swamp Thing or is he working on Star Wars. Star Wars takes a big chunk of time, at least 3 years, at least 2 to 3 years on just like mapping it out. How are you going to make this movie? How are you going to make it connect to everything else? Because Star Wars is really big. Swamp Thing, it'll probably take them like a good year and a half to 2 years, whatever. And like, that's going to take time too. So whatever comes first is going to be the other one's going to be put behind far. And if James Gunn is basically saying that he wants his Swamp Thing to be coming out by 2026 or something, or 2025 or something, there's no way he's gonna be able to put out a Star Wars movie.
Basically, yeah. I hope he finds the time and he's able to do Star Wars first. I'm not saying that as a big Swamp Thing fan. I hope I get more Star Wars movies first. And, with the way DC's moving, I'm not vibing. So I hope Star Wars gets done quickly. Interesting stuff, though. Interesting concept for a movie.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait to see what happens with this one, and especially with that little collision course that's happening. Unless he's working on 2 movies at one time, he's gonna show up to Swamp Thing set and be like, "Where are the Jedi?"
It's gonna be that tight. No.
So I mean, he's gonna have a lot on his plate. We'll see what happens. No release date yet, just in the works. I guess is being talked about. So we're gonna have to wait to see what happens with that one. The next movie that is coming out is Dave Filoni's movie. Now he's getting a movie. He's getting his directorial debut with none other than the franchise he started with, Star Wars. He was a producer since way back with Star Wars. He moved up the ranks. Now he's there. Now he's in the director's chair. Not just for an animated show, not just for a TV show.
A movie.
A whole movie that's his. What is this movie about, you guys may ask? It's about the TV. It's about the TV shows. It's about the Mandoverse that's happening. This is going to be a culmination of everything that's happening. He even said it himself, even with Mando season 4. So he's saying that there's going to be another Mandalorian season. And this movie's going to be like the big shebang to all that. It's supposed to be set between Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. Basically everything that happened, Grogu, Ahsoka, Thrawn, Ezra, because he's coming out in these shows, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Boba Fett, I'm assuming we're gonna see Boba Fett again. All these characters that are running around on TV are gonna make their big screen debut, and yeah, I mean,
exciting stuff.
It
Sounds exciting.
It's exciting. It's just they even said it's gonna be like 6 to 7 years before that even happens. That means we got a few shows coming down the pipeline that are gonna be
Before the movie ain't come out.
Yeah, and I don't know how much they're gonna expand on this, how much they're gonna put into this, but it seems like it's gonna be stuffed because he said everything that he's been doing. So that even means down to like the Bad Batch. You know what I mean? To like that's gonna be a part of it too because they're setting the trail for what's to come. You know what I mean? It sounds like it's gonna be doing a lot. 6 to 7 years. That's a lot of story that you're putting underneath it. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's good to map it out, and it sounds like it might be like a final end game type situation for that crew. But like, I don't know, man. It just seems like it's gonna be a lot to me, at least. I'm excited for it. Just skeptical with this one.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because everything is now just kind of coming out into live action, which sounds dope. You would not have expected to ever see Ahsoka on the big screen or all these other people, Mando.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh man, he's gonna look so.
You
good.
never thought you'd see Boba Fett again,
honestly. So like, you gotta say thank you to Dave Filoni one time. But yeah, the concept sounds huge, and it's not saying that the storytelling can't be done. It's just they're gonna have to kind of be very careful what they do, which they usually are. You know what I mean about mapping it out and stuff. They kind of have it down him and Favreau.
Yeah.
But yeah, the movie sounds dope. The concept sounds nice.
Yeah, because I'm sure we're gonna see Thrawn. We're gonna see Moff Gideon again. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see Moff Gideon again in there. A lot of characters to expand on. A lot of moves that Filoni's doing. I don't know. I'm kind of hoping he gets the keys to the kingdom after Kathleen Kennedy, but we'll have to wait and see. It's 6 or 7 years. That's a long time. And here's my thing too. And this is what I mean that Kathleen Kennedy I feel like she's jumping the gun with these movies because we're going to talk about the last one, and this might be the most divisive one out of all the movies and all the shows. But 6 or 7 years is a long time. She's planning this way ahead of time, and usually you don't announce a movie until you know that you have actors, a script at least. You know what I mean? Something needs to be put together before you say, hey, we're pushing out this product. I can't be like, no, don't worry, dude. I promise I'm going to sell you a car, and I'm going to get you a car. I don't have the parts, and I haven't started building it yet, nor do I have the actual car here, but I can sell you this car, and you can buy it from me. You know what I mean? And it just seems like that's what they're doing there, and I feel like this is going to be another setup for like disappointment.
Nah, I don't think so. I think they learned and they got it right. And Filoni's the guy. He's gonna be the one to do it.
You don't think that it's kind of far out? You don't think all this is kind of like being announced hella far out? Even with Mangold's situation, saying like he doesn't even know which movie's gonna come first. They don't even know if he's gonna do Swamp Thing and if Star Wars is gonna be backed up because of him. You know what I mean? And then this one, we have this one coming up, but we don't even know if it's gonna see the light of day. What if Star Wars takes a dip in the next couple years? Because of TV shows. Honestly, it might be because of TV shows. Because Mando's not holding steady right now.
One episode out of a whole season, you gotta wait.
Boba Fett wasn't holding steady either.
That was 4 episodes, man.
Boba Fett?
It was like 4 or 6 episodes.
Boba Fett was 8 episodes. I think every show is like 8 episodes.
No, Boba Fett was a short series. It was shorter. I'm like pretty sure. And if not, then oh well. But yeah, no. I think I have faith, and you kind of shitting on my faith right now.
I'm not.
Just say you hate Filoni and you don't like Star Wars at all. That's it. Say it.
I love Star Wars. I've been so used and abused as a Star Wars fan. It's not good. I mean, why don't you breathe some some life into me. Why don't you give me some glasses half full type shit? Come on. Let me hear it. I want to hear it because you don't have any. That's why.
Well,
Because you are as skeptical as me.
well, no, I have 100% faith that he's gonna do it. If anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be him and Favreau. You can't give them the keys because they're the creatives. You can't really do all that. But like the last episode of Mando, you know what I mean? Not the one, not the last one with Jack Black. That's not really a spoiler. They kind of announced that, but the one with the one where they were fighting the pirates and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that one set the bar? You said that was probably the best episode of the season. We still have more of the season to go.
No, the best episode was the which one was it? It was recent. What happened? It wasn't the one where they're doing the whole. When I get it, I'll come back to you. But there was one episode that it was it's the one with Zeb.
That's what I just talked about.
That's not the one with the pirate. Oh yeah, with the pirates and the pirate ship.
Yes.
I thought you meant
What
the
the
one
fuck?
when they're drinking in front of the school and they're like, "This is the bar."
No,
that
that's
shit
not
was
the first episode. No,
that shit was cheeks.
no,
I don't like that.
I'm talking about that one. Yeah, that one should bring faith. The Bad Batch had you crying.
How many episodes came out?
I think that was like the fourth one, something like that.
Fourth or fifth? 1 out of 5? 1 out of 4? Does that help?
2 out of 4. I like the not this one, but I think the one before the pirate one.
The one with where it focuses on the cloners?
Yeah, and the lore of Mandalore. They go and they see the when Bo-Katan sees the thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Very good. So skeptical, but excited. I'm excited about it because yes, in Filoni I trust because I think he's been doing a magnificent job with Star Wars.
Filoni and Favreau.
Yeah, Favreau too. Favreau, man, if Favreau is not making fat stacks of cash at this point, man, he pioneered the MCU, helped bring Lucasfilm back to life. I'm assuming he's getting big bucks. He needs to be getting big bucks. Now, for this last and final movie that is going to be coming out, this is the one that's going to be super divisive, and it's not off to a good start. I personally don't think that they should be making this movie, but I am a Star Wars fan, so anything is better than nothing. But at the same time, I personally think that this is going to be a very, very, very well lit shit show, and it's going to be Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy's film. Now, this is the film that will be taking place 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker, post the First Order and the war. It's basically said that the Jedi are in disarray. There's a lot of discussion around who are the Jedi, what are they doing, what's the state of the galaxy, and saying that Rey is returning, Rey Palpatine is returning, and she is attempting to rebuild the Jedi Order. They says that it's based on the books, and what she promised Luke, and so that's basically the direction they're going. And the big divisive part that I'm saying is going to be divisive is bringing back Rey Palpatine.
That person doesn't exist. I don't know who you're talking about.
What's her name? Hold on. Daisy Ridley. They're bringing back Daisy Ridley.
Daisy Ridley. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see her back. She deserves everything.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah, I loved her so much. She's great.
Okay. Before I give you my take on this movie, I want to hear your take. What are you expecting? What do you think from what you hear about what this movie's about to be about? Well, go ahead.
I'm expecting this movie to be really well, and I hope we get really good development from between Rise of Skywalker and this movie, because 15 years is a lot of time. Probably a little bit longer between the The Force Awakens and Return of the Jedi, because there was like what, a 10-year gap, right? Between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens.
10, 15?
It's like 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah. So you got that gap, and 15 years after the fact, she has to be basically wiser than when she was by the end of the film. And I'm hoping I know conflict has to happen, but I hope she's learned from what she learned from Luke and takes that and does better with the Jedi Order. Because Luke told her that everything failed. Yoda failed. The prequel era failed. Like, she has to do better, basically.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to learn to like make mistakes and this and that. And she also should still have the ancient texts. So I'm expecting her to be kind of a little bit better than when Luke was when he was teacher. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Damn, they're saying that it's like about 25 to 30 years between Return of the Jedi.
Really?
Seems like a lot. Because he says Return of the Jedi is 4 years after A New Hope, and The Force Awakens happens 34 years. So, like, about 30 years. So, the New Republic had, like, 30 years apiece?
Really? That doesn't sound right. I could have sworn it was smaller.
Unless
because I guess the Empire era lasted 20 years.
The Empire era, yeah, lasted 20 years.
Okay, well, maybe I got my timelines wrong, and there's an official book out there somewhere that probably says it. But, I'm expecting Rey to be at her height, if that makes any sense, of teaching and whatnot. And
15 years is a long time.
Yeah, so I'm expecting her to be a little bit better than where Luke was when he was trying to teach. Rebuild the Order and, like, all this and that. And then, I'm not sure what to think about any big bads or whatever, because I know Resistance will always be there. The Sith kind of breeds anew and whatnot. But there has to be a little bit something interesting, because I love the concept of the Force Dyad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, I just hope there's another good dynamic between the good and the bad. And it is not just another, bad guy rise, we kill bad guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need a little bit more complexity.
That's what I'm saying. If they're giving her a second chance, look, I'm somebody who I'm going to tell you guys why I think that this movie should not be made. But I'm going to say, if they are giving her a chance to come back and do right, I think that they should plan. They need to plan, and they cannot fail. They can't fail at this movie. If anything hiccups, it's going to ruin her career. Daisy Ridley's not coming back to Hollywood, and they're going to blame her for not selling tickets. She's going to be basically the Hayden Christensen until one day they bring her back. But, it's kind of like, they brought back Luke, and he looked the way that he does, and then, they brought back Leia, and Leia was just like, you didn't need to bring her back. She's kind of too old. You know what I mean? It was nice. I loved it. I think she did a solid job. I love them, but the OGs. But yeah, it's gonna be one of those things if they don't get it right. Now, the reason why I say that they shouldn't even bring her back to begin with, the fan base is already divided. Like I told you, Last Jedi divided it. Rise of Skywalker divided it even more. Rey Palpatine divided it even more.
That character doesn't exist.
Oh, sorry. She existed for 3 movies.
Rey existed. Rey Skywalker exists. I don't know who Rey Palpatine is, so.
I don't know who Rey Skywalker is either. That's crazy.
That's crazy then.
That's crazy.
Just Rey then.
Yeah.
It's just Rey.
Okay, it's just Rey. So, bringing back Rey is like I said, if you got to bring somebody back and make sure that you nail everything on the head and not make any mistakes, that tells you exactly where the state of everything is. So, that little divisiveness, like, you see videos where, like how you are. You cheer for the Rise of Skywalker thing, for at least Rey Skywalker stuff. And then you have other people putting out videos where they hate it, where it's bad, where it was like a bad choice. Why would they do that? It doesn't make any sense. So bringing her back in general is like a bad thing. And we also have those people that are like, oh, they're going to decanonize the sequel trilogy. They're not going to keep anybody around. And, there's rumors going around saying that it is going to happen and Daisy Ridley is going to be the only one who survives the decanonization or whatever and blah, blah, blah. Like that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's all these words out there. I'm not even saying like, it's going to happen. Like I said, there's rumors, is all with a grain of salt. Who knows what happens? Only the people that are writing these shits know what's going to happen. I think that it's just too much of a problem and they should probably go a different direction with a different character.
Yeah, but then that leaves the question of like, oh, where were they after the fact? You know what I mean? They could have totally done just a different era and then addressed the sequel era at some point. But with the way the Bad Batch is moving, the way with Mando is moving, it's moving toward the sequels. You gotta move past the sequels, regardless of whatever people are saying. You know what I mean? And for her to come back and restart fresh, I think it's basically gonna
Not fresh.
refresh it all.
She's not coming back fresh. She's coming back with a lot of baggage. That's what I'm saying. Like that, I think that's the issue. I mean, there's people out there like you that are like, I'm Yas Queen. Thank you for coming back, but like,
I'm excited for her to come back.
But there's some people that
are still gonna pay money for it though. And so in the end of the day, when all that money racks up and she gets a sequel, it's gonna be because of them too, because they hate watch. They probably spend way more money hate watching than I do watching.
We're gonna be like that dude on Twitter who went to David F. Sandberg and was like, I watched it in 4K illegally. I think no, I get it, and I get your passion, and I understand that. But you're talking from a point of skepticism, or not skepticism. You're talking from a point of excitement and hype. But let's talk about this in a logical sense. How much with the fan base divided, you honestly believe that people are going to go out to see this movie in theaters? Seeing that Solo flopped, okay? Seeing that other movies, like the main Star Wars, unless it's connected to the Skywalker saga, it's not going to do good. Yeah, it's set within the universe, but if it's not the Skywalker saga, people aren't gonna really care. You know what I mean? That's why they didn't care for Solo. That's why they didn't go and watch that one. It's gonna be very tough to sell it, especially right now. Yeah, you're gonna have some people, but you've seen what happened. You've seen with Shazam 2, not even making $200 million like that, and that's just the power of the fans. That's the power of the fans. They're able to take that away. So if you're not putting out good product and nobody's going to go watch it, what is this all about? So that's what I'm saying. Like, do you think, seeing with everything stacked up against it, do you think that this movie is actually going to be able to make the leap?
Yeah. Honestly, yes. Because Shazam 2 had bad marketing. Star Wars Disney knows how to market. So they do that shit for every little thing. They will put her on every Coke bottle. Like, she'll be everywhere for a good minute. But like, that's what I'm saying though, because people are still gonna go and watch, just so they can form their opinion. Mm-hmm. People are gonna pay for it. They're gonna hate watch, which I hate that exists, because you could totally just be like, nah, I don't really want to watch it. But then now these content creators don't have content because they can't call the things MCU and this and that. Fuck you, Nerdrotic. But honestly, like, yeah, I think it's gonna do good. Maybe not the Force Awakens numbers, because it hasn't been when did Rise of Skywalker come out?
Rise of Skywalker came out 2019.
Yeah, and maybe by the time this one comes out, we'd have another maybe 10-year gap between each Star Wars movie.
How long?
Because you said this one isn't in early development, right? So by the time this one comes out, it'll probably be like a good 8 years or so since then.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while.
See, so maybe it does Force Awakens numbers because it's a Star Wars movie and the hiatus is kind of long. That's kind of weird that Star Wars does that sort of thing.
Yeah,
but
okay. If this is the first movie in the chamber, and they put it out, I can see it maybe doing some kind of numbers. If it's the first movie in the chamber, but if they put out any of the other two, and any of the other two are remotely bad, hers is doomed. I would say that. I think, logically speaking, I think that would make sense.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I just know that I still think it's going to do well.
I hope so. You know what? Star Wars movies, I want them. As long as they're good, give them to me. I don't want any half-ass shit. But, I don't know, man. This one, I think out of all of them, this is the one that I have most skepticism with. And it's not because of it is because of Daisy Ridley, but it's not because of Rey Skywalker. It's not because of Rey Palpatine beef nonsense within the movie. Like, I that's my own personal opinion when it comes to those movies. I'm a Star Wars fan at heart. I'm going to watch it regardless. Like you said, I'm still going to pay money to watch this thing. It's just I don't want another product brought in that's going to leave a bad taste in people's mouth, and then Star Wars has to go back through this hiatus again.
Yeah, maybe. But even then, I mean, I think the sequel trilogy just, because they still, like I told you, they still made money. They were still able to make 3 movies. Solo kind of stalled it because people didn't like the whole, the
Last Jedi.
Yeah, and whatnot. So maybe that's why. Maybe Solo is just the bad one because people already.
It was such a good movie.
People already spent their money on The Last Jedi. It was too late to do anything about that. It racked up all those numbers. They had to make an example. Solo was it. I really like Solo. If you guys didn't watch it in theaters, so whack. It was so good. And then Rise of Skywalker comes out, still makes money, but yeah, divided fan base. Now you kind of have to we don't want another Solo. We want more of The Force Awakens. So you take your time. Disney decides to get it right after almost 8 years. They're ready to try again. This time, they have it mapped out. They got it right. They planned it like they said they would. We get Daisy Ridley back. She's gonna be the guy. She's gonna be the main character, and whatever else they decide to do after the fact. I have no doubt that this one will do really good. Maybe the next 2 don't or whatever because, but this one will make the money to make the second one. And if the second one flops, that's when they stop.
That's
the
true.
first one is gonna set the bar, and then if people are like, "Oh, I didn't really like it," they're not gonna want to see the second one.
I hope we get to see Finn and Poe back.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah,
Both of them. I think they were great. They're gonna have to offer Finn a lot of money to bring him back. Very bad taste in his mouth, and the way he was talking about Disney and Star Wars, if they approach him, because he did kind of badmouth them a little bit. If they approach him, they're gonna have to shell out a lot of money for him to put his morals and pride to the side.
Honestly, yeah.
Oscar Isaac, I think he'll come back. He even though he voiced his distaste for the Rise of Skywalker, I mean, he loved The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens. So I'm hoping there was enough good Star Wars in him to make him come back too. So, and not for a fat check, because most of it's probably gonna go to Finn anyways.
Yeah, I want to see them back. That would be dope.
Yeah. Who else from the sequel trilogy would I want to see? Not the girl that rammed her ship into another ship.
Oh, Rose?
Not Rose. Oh, I would love to see Rose. It's very sad what happened to her. I got very upset because I know that the fan base bullied her to the point where she didn't want to be a part of it. And she got pushed back in The Rise of Skywalker. Very, very background character type-esque. Very bad.
Yeah, but those are the main 3. They're like the Luke, Leia, and Han of the series now. So to see them back would be nice. And then maybe use this one to set up the next ones. Who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it would be cool to see how Rey builds up a Jedi Order and stuff like that. I hope the fighting gets a lot better too. Honestly, I think the fight scenes were kind of in the sequel trilogy, and I hope that they go a little bit harder later on. Because in Rogue One, that Vader scene, Luke scene in the hallway in the Mandalorian, what else? I mean, the prequel trilogies, those ones are like undefeated with the lightsaber fights.
Man, don't make me break down the lore reasoning for all this, dude. The fight scenes will be the same as they were in the OT and in the sequels. They're not. I don't think they're gonna get any high value unless they jump hella in the future.
The reason why they were so good in the Clone Wars, obviously, is because they had time to train, right? They had time to train. They knew that they were being bred for battle. They had to be these fast, agile people. I'm 100%. That's my headcanon. I don't know if that's real or not. They got to be agile. They have to do all, kind of like how they were in the High Republic. There were fast lightsaber fights in that one too. They had to be agile. They had to be warrior ready. In the original trilogy, there wasn't a lot of lightsabers. There wasn't a lot of people. There wasn't a lot of Jedi in general. They didn't have to be. I get in the sequel trilogy too. She was barely learning. They didn't really need a fight. There wasn't a lot of fighting. But Kylo should have had her multiple times. The reason why he lost multiple times is fucking crazy. He should have had her multiple times. multiple times, especially as a Sith from my granddaddy. He should have done something. He should have been able to like really whoop her ass, especially with as much training as he said he has, and especially because he went to Luke's camp to learn all these fights and do all this stuff, train with the lightsaber and everything. He should have been able to do more.
Okay.
No, speak back. You look like you have something to say. Go ahead.
Okay.
Say it now. I don't want to have this conversation off recording because then you're gonna give out the juicy stuff off camera right now.
He was fighting. He was whooping her ass, and he wasn't trying to kill her. That was his big thing. The whole time he wasn't trying to kill her. She was fighting for her life. By the time she struck him in The Rise of Skywalker and he falls, she could have had him right there. She chose to let him live. There's a difference, and he was conflicted. You can't fight conflicted. We know that already. We've seen it multiple times. Don't tell me that's not true because we've seen it before.
He can't fight conflicted.
You can't fight conflicted, no.
I guess you're right. It throws him off balance.
Exactly. He just killed his father in The Force Awakens. That split him more, as they said in The Last Jedi. He was shot in the stomach by a bowcaster. You're not going to be in your top shape getting with a goddamn hole in your chest.
What about in The Last Jedi?
In The Last Jedi, they were like evenly matched, and he was still holding up better than Rey was fighting the Sith people, the Sith troopers.
That's true too.
He saved
and
her
they didn't
from
even,
having her.
And they didn't even have a lightsaber fight in that one, huh?
No, not really.
Rey and Kylo,
No.
But in Rise of Skywalker, they did,
They had quite a few,
and that shit was slow.
and that's because none of them had proper training. You're not gonna expect this type of training from almost 50 years ago, where the Jedi Council was at its height and peak and whatever else, getting fucked with by
Kylo didn't get
Palpatine.
training.
Luke's training, I can probably tell you, we haven't seen it a lick, but Luke's training had not to be combat
The
ready.
hallway fight scene in The Mandalorian. You didn't see how he cut up all those droids?
Fighting droids and fighting another Sith person is totally different things.
But that hand-to-hand combat doesn't change.
When you're older, yes, it does. That was Luke at his peak.
Kylo is like Luke in that age.
No.
Yeah.
He wasn't trained well.
Inconsistency, I'm telling you.
No.
As poking holes, and you're just like, damn, he's poking holes.
No.
He's like, damn, he's poking holes.
I'm quite literally giving you all this stuff.
But I'm telling you, if Luke trained him, he should have had that not that fight style, but like that quickness, the agileness. You know what I mean? That agility. He should have had that.
He had that shit on her. But while also bleeding. So it wasn't until she started like
she had no training. He should have killed her.
She had training. Staff training translates to the sword.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
That's real life shit.
Staff training is 2 hands. 1, 2. A sword is 2 hands down here.
I can show you clips of this after the fact. If you're working with a staff, you get 2 sides. If you take away a bottom half, you still can fight with the top half. That's translates to swords.
But when she holds her staff, she holds it two hands wide. You don't see that when she's fighting. She holds it 2 hands wide.
That still can translate to
when
a
does she
fucking
when does she ever
sword.
do this? She never does that.
She can translate it to a sword. That's basic shit.
I mean, you could swing a sword. Doesn't mean you know how to use the sword. That's fine. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. She should have lost. He should have won. But I get the conflicted thing. Now that you kind of put that, I'm like, yeah, you're probably right about that. He was conflicted in the first one, and he did get shot by a bowcaster. But in Rise of Skywalker, he could have had her multiple times. He should have had her multiple times. And to be honest, he made it seem like he was out for blood at that time. So I mean, didn't want to kill her, did he?
No.
I think they kind of shipped them in Rise of Skywalker out of nowhere too. They shouldn't have done that.
Well, the plan was always for him to bring her in and train her and stuff. From The Force Awakens, they talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
He tells her, "Oh, you have all this raw potential. Let me train you." He's not trying to kill her, but he has the fucking upper hand in the fight. And then she learns her Force abilities, and
then he tries a second time in The Last Jedi. He doesn't try to kill her.
Exactly.
But then, in The Rise of Skywalker, he was out for blood. He said, I gave you your chance. Now I'm going to fucking kill you.
No, he wanted the Pathfinder, or the Sith thing, whatever the fuck they were fighting for around that time. I forget. what they were fighting.
But you love it
But
so
it
much.
wasn't because I didn't say that one was my favorite.
Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah, what the fuck? Stop putting words in my mouth just because I enjoy that movie.
I enjoy it too.
No, you don't.
Sometimes.
No.
It's like good to watch at times. I don't know, man. Like I said, and you see this kind of discourse that we get off of Rey and stuff like that. This is where the division happens. You feel me? It is where and you didn't even make I attempted to see your side, but you didn't even make that attempt to be like, hey, I get that, but let me refute it. No, you said, dog. See, but that's the thing, is that if we're gonna listen here, guys, you guys out there, as Star Wars fans, if we're gonna come together, we need to find that common ground, and then we got to be able to build upon that. And so, starting a movie with Rey being the uncommonest of grounds, I think we need to find a good movie that's gonna put us all on common ground first and build off that.
I told you I see where you're coming from, but people are still gonna go out and see it regardless. I told you that. That was like the first thing I said.
Yeah, but I don't want you to go out and see it, meet somebody across the aisle that's like, Ray Palpatine, and you're like, shut the fuck up, guy. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, well, first off, you were talking during the movie. You were talking during the movie. You deserve a fuck you for that.
Yeah.
That's different.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God. But yeah, so Rey Skywalker is going to get her movie off the ground again, or Ray Palpatine, whatever you guys want to call her. Let's call her Rey. She's going to be getting another stab at the Star Wars franchise, and honestly, props to her. At least that. I got to give her props, because props to her. She went through all that backlash. She had to deal with all this nonsense and bullshit that, normal people shouldn't have to be putting these people through, but, it happens. Bully happens, and it's good that she was able to take a step back. I think she deleted her social media too because of Star Wars fans. She took a step back. She took a breather, and then now she's finally back. So I gotta commend that. That's strong. That's love for the franchise and willingness to want to do better than what you put out.
Yeah, and that's the thing about some Star Wars fans, that they can just get very toxic. Because I know they were trying to bullshit on Little Leia when Obi-Wan came
Little
out.
Leia,
then,
Moses Ingram, like that was the thing. I was like, what the fuck?
Like, so some of these Star Wars fans feel very passionate to
Rose,
the point where they're gonna just be very racist. But
racist, mean. It's like, dude, like, why?
Like, if you,
I'm
like,
so mad. I'm gonna get racist in this bitch.
like, and that's the thing. Like, that's another thing. Like, if you're a part of the fandom, you gotta be better, because some of these people they haven't cracked that code yet. You know what I mean?
You gotta be better.
I think I'm an A1 Star Wars fan. I am not out there being racist to nobody. If I don't like something, I'll be like, hey, I didn't really enjoy this, but I'm not gonna be racist. I'm not gonna be racist, sexist, mean. I'm not gonna do any of that. I'm just gonna be like, well, this wasn't for me. I'll watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
But it isn't for me. I'm not gonna go out on the internet and start bullying people. That's dumb. That doesn't make any sense.
It's too much. So, all these Star Wars things coming out, we're finally getting fed as Star Wars fans. In conclusion, though, Star Wars has been, and I don't want to speak for you. This is on my conclusion. Star Wars has had a bumpy road. I think we're finally gonna see the bright light at the end of the tunnel. We're making our way out this bumpy road. I'm hoping that we're gonna get more on even ground. I'm hoping that they learn their lesson throughout, this time of having Star Wars. Going through what they did with the sequel trilogy, the TV shows having unsuccessful reception, because it split people again. Some people really liked it, some people really hated it. Like I'm one who's able to find the shining light in all the garbage. So even though Obi-Wan wasn't up to my expectations, there was some good shining moments, and in every show, even the Boba Fett show. So unsteady ground. Hopefully we're gonna get something steady. We got a bunch of shows coming out, a few movies that we now know is coming out. Let's show up and show out as Star Wars fans, if you're a Star Wars fan.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, this is all something we should be watching and enjoying together. And not like the MCU fans, like, they can band together and clap for shit. I know some people did it for The Force Awakens, and I think some in the Last Jedi. and a little bit in Ray of Skywalker. I've seen the clips, so I mean, we can do it too. We can clap during all that shit. So I mean, I think when Luke showed up in The Force Awakens, people were like, there's videos of like celebration and shit
Yeah,
like that.
everybody loved that.
Yeah,
but
so,
then
like-
it got crapped on when he threw the lightsaber in the next movie.
Well, we're not talking about that.
Sucks.
We're not talking about that. It's just like we can have those moments where we come together as fans and enjoy that shit. I think Star Wars Celebration is a perfect example of that. Hella fans is getting together, listening to the people that make Star Wars talk. So like, yeah, show up and show out, and then you can have your bullshit opinion. But yeah, show up and show out first.
Yeah. With that being said, the Star Wars episode is coming to an end. Josh, go ahead and let them know where they can holler at us if they want to interact with us. Let us know of something that we should have said on this pod or this episode, but we didn't, and we could talk about it next time. Maybe a movie they want us to review.
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at FilmBros Podcast. You can engage with us there, like he said. Whether you want to talk about a piece of news, a movie, a show, we'll get around to that. Just hit us up, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at FilmBros Podcast. If you want to listen to us on the go, Spotify and Apple Podcast at FilmBros Podcast. If you want to support us in a big way, Zippy Stream at FilmBros Podcast. All it takes is a name and an email. You get our full catalog. And if you want to support us on YouTube, go ahead and do that at FilmBros Podcast.
Yeah, and with that being said, YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We will be putting out videos soon, so make sure you guys are ready for that when it happens.
Exactly.
We'll talk to you guys on the next one.
Talk to you guys later.